Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another airbrush review and spray test. You're going to get to see this brush drop a little bit of paint down, see what it can do. The brush we are looking at today is the Iwata Eclipse Takumi, and now this brush is on a 0.35. The Eclipse has been around for a long time. There was old versions of it, and then getting up to date we've got the Eclipse Takumi, which was their latest sort of version. Then you've got the next one up, which is the custom micron Takumi brush. So this is the brush we are looking at today. It's the one that's got the big ass cup on it, guys. We'll talk about that in a minute, but that's the brush. A little bit about the brush. You've got a really nice chrome finish on this, as you do with all Iwatas. Side feed airbrush again, so you can take your pin out and you can put your cup to the opposite side like that, put your pin in on the side like that, and you can have your cup left or right, whatever preference you want. If you're left or right handed, you can have it that side or that side. So same feature as the one I did yesterday with the HP SB Plus. You've got the side feed, does the same thing with the cup left and right. Now you've got the crown cap to the front, which looks like a little crown. They unscrew off, and I'm going to give you a little talk about these crown caps a bit later on. The trigger, double action again, and these triggers, I think these triggers on the Iwatas, these were the best triggers. You get these triggers and these styles on the custom microns. It's just the most comfortable trigger out of all the Iwata range, I think, because it's nice and flat. When you put your finger on it, you've got like a really nice flat wide coverage for your finger to go on. You've got a little grippy plate on the top as well, so it feels nice and grippy, and it is sloped at the right angle for when you put your finger on it. It's just really comfortable. To the back of the brush you've got your cutaway, and you've got your adjuster here, so you can dial in your trigger. Now the body on the back of this is exactly the same body as the HP SB Plus, so that's where the body's come from. It's come across from the HP SB Plus or the HP C Plus, same rear body, so you're getting that on the back. The front end of these brushes, they've designed this, and they've sort of, where the trigger is to the front here, they've made it shorter, so it makes you feel like you're going closer to your work. It brings you sort of closer to the front end of the brush, which, yes, is nice, but then they go and stick a big ass cup on the side like this, so you're right up close into that cup where your finger is. You're sort of really close up. So if you have your cup this side and you're looking at your work and they bring you closer to the work, yes, bring you closer to the work, but why put a big cup on the side which is sort of in the way? If you put the cup to the opposite side, if you're left or right handed, and you're really up close and you're looking at your artwork, you can see a lot of cup in your eye view as you're coming along, and that to me is off-putting. Now they say these brushes have got better paint flow, and I can see why they would say that, because the cup and your paint is above the body of the brush, so paint will go down and come into the brush that way, so the flow of paint when the air's coming through the brush will come out a lot more, it'll transfer it better. But as I said yesterday in yesterday's video, that was the best cup that Iwata made, because when you look down your brush like that, you're not seeing a cup sticking up in the view, and the paint flow on these is absolutely perfect. So why they've done this design, I don't know. It bothers me. And another bad thing about this cup is, if you own a Takumi, you'd have experienced this, I guarantee it. You have to really push these into the body to get them secure, because it's quite a heavy cup on its own. It's very weighty, and you have to push that into the body to get it tight, to keep it where it needs to be. If you knock that cup it can become very loose, very quick, and it can move around and do that and fall off. So it's a very heavy cup to be on the side of an airbrush. And you notice this, when you balance the cup on the center point, it feels like it wants to lean one side, and that's without any painting. So if you put in paint in there, you put in sort of an extra bit of weight in there, it wants to tip. You can feel that extra weight to one side. So when I use this brush, I take the big cup off. I get my little H&S cup, and the H&S cup screws straight in, and it just makes it better. You're getting the same sort of idea of paint flow where it's nice and across, but it doesn't wobble out the way because it's not heavy. You've cut the weight down dramatically, and it's just not so much in the way. It gives you a little bit more view. So that's how I'll use the Takumi. But if you get on with the big cup, you get on with the big cup. But I just think it's just a little bit too in your face and in the way. You get a cap to the top. Now this is what I'm on about. You go to take the cap off, and you've really got to keep hold of that cup because it just starts to work its way loose, and I just do not like the idea of that. Even the lid of these are quite weighty, so it's just a very heavy piece to be sitting on the side of a brush. That's my opinion anyway. You guys might like the cup, but me personally I don't like it. Now the crown cap on these, I looked on a website yesterday because my PS270, I've lost the crown cap. We've all lost crown caps. You unscrew them, they get knocked off the table, it hits the floor and they just disappear. So I looked on a website, and the crown cap you get on the PS270 is the prong one like that. So if you're on a 270, you know what I'm on about. They've got the prong like that. Now that prong cap is exactly the same as the Takumi. So that goes on the PS270, and then as you can see now, it screws, and it is the same cap as the Takumi. Now if you lose the crown cap on the Takumi, it's going to cost you 20 quid. If you lose the crown cap on a PS270, it's going to cost you a tenner. So if you lose the crown cap on the Takumi, guys, buy the PS270 Krios crown cap. They're identical, and this is what I mean by they come out the same factory. So that's a little cheap option. If you lose your crown cap, grab a PS270 one, it goes straight on. Now the rear bodies on these are identical to the HP SBS, so that's where that body's come from, that brush, which was an older brush. So they took the body from the back of that and they put it on this. This is a 0.35 needle and nozzle setup, so this will get down on detail. I will hook the airline up and we'll give it a little spray like I did in yesterday's video with the HP SBS, and we'll do some shading and you'll just see how the Takumi works. So we'll run it the same pressure as I did on the last test yesterday with the brush, and we are running 23 psi in that. We've got some black golden high flow, and just by taking that cup off, it's loosened this again. You see what I mean? You've only got to touch that cup and it starts to become loose. You have to really push it hard into the body to lock it into place, and that's a bad design, very bad design. These brushes are coming around out at about 200, I think they're about 209, cheapest I've seen them. So we'll take the crown cap off. I'm just going to do a little spray out on this before we start. This paint is really thin. In fact, I'm going to take the air pressure down to 20. Right, we've got some paint coming out. Now, you're close up to the front end of the brush. So I'll do you a full pass. You'll see what sort of coverage this gets. It may spider out because the pressure is quite high and this paint is very thin. So full pass back on paint like that. So you're getting the same sort of spray pattern as yesterday's video. If you didn't see that, have a look at that one on the HP SB Plus. Nice atomization again, as all iWatters do. They atomize the paint really, really well. So you can get good coverage with this brush, and I've turned this pressure down because the paint is quite thin. But nice atomization on that. We'll go down and we'll get right down on some little lines. So we'll do another pass like that, coming down. And this thing will get you it'll get your hairlines down. So that's your full back on the paint. So nice coverage. So if you're doing sort of big areas, it will get the paint down for you, which is really nice. As I say, what I like about this brush is it's the trigger, guys. For me, it's really, really comfortable, and it's at that nice angle, so when you're pulling back you can get it at them points where you need to get it to get these down. This brush will get you like tiny dagger strokes. This pressure is a bit high. A really, really nice, comfortable brush. It's like there's not much in it between these two. The HP SB Plus and this. I prefer this for one, the body. I like that little bit longer here, it's better. You do feel like you're sort of, as they say, up close and personal, which you are. You're sort of very close to the front end when you're working, but it's not an issue. I'm tending to have to look here when I paint, so I'm looking down at the brush this way. I can't sort of look in straight down this way. I sit to the side, but a comfortable brush to get on with. Triggers really nice on this. So yeah, you can work with this for a long time with that trigger. It's very on point. It's like instant with the paint. That's the size of pattern you're going to get down full back on the trigger, and this thing does get really down on lines and things like that. So now we'll move on to the circles and do some shading. So I'll do a light source coming in this way. And it really does atomize really nice. You'll find all the iWatters do. They atomize paint. I'm about 5 to 6 inches away, and I'm just feathering the trigger very lightly and building the paint up. But it really does atomize really, really well. Do a little drop shadow under that. But the cup is just too big. The cup is just way too big for me. It's a bad design, I think. I know they're saying like you get better paint flow, but there's really not a lot in it, guys. And I would prefer to be using this brush with this cup. It'll do the same as what the Takumi will do. This one does come out a little bit dearer, but I'd get on better with this one than this one, especially working on a piece for a long period of time with this cup on the side. And I'll tell you another reason why this cup's a bad design again in a minute. So we'll just do a little drop under here, like that. So atomizes identical to the HP SB Plus. it works just the same. I'd say this trigger's more comfortable on your finger than this. This is just a little bit wider on the trigger, which is nice. Same back body as the other one. Now we've got a little bit of paint left over in there. Now what I tend to find is when you're cleaning your airbrush out, if you've got water-based acrylics, you will usually do that, give it a little bubble back, and then you either tip your excess paint out like this. So you'll do this and you're coming for a colour change, and the first thing I usually grab is a piece of kitchen towel and go like that and do this. So you're wiping the cup to get the excess out. Now there you go, the minute you touch this cup again, it's doing that and goes very, very loose. And you'll find that when you come to colour change all the time with that cup, it loosens up really quick and wants to fall out. So we will get the other eye water cup, drop it on the side. We will get some paint. And it works, guys, you know, it works absolutely identical with that cup on. So if you've got the Takumi Eclipse or you're thinking of getting one, it works better with that cup on. It really does. It holds in place. It's out the way. You've not got a massive cup you're looking at. It just works really nice. You get a lot more view, you can see more of your artwork, and that's what it's about, especially if they've shortened the body to make you go up closer. That's where the cup needs to be. It works absolutely fine with that cup on. So yeah, my thoughts, guys. Brilliant brush. You know, companies have to make new brushes and do tweaks and things like that, but what they were thinking about when they put that on the side of it, I don't know. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, as I say. Stick that on it, brilliant, brilliant, works perfect. Or if you're going to use your Takumi cup, unscrew the big cup to the top, ditch it, buy yourself an H&S cup, which ain't dear, and we'll just drop the H&S cup on like that, drop some paint in it, and works absolutely perfect with that cup, and you've got more view at your work, and you won't have dramas with it moving around because it's a lighter cup. Them Takumi cups are very heavy, and I was using that without the cap. So you put the cap on, it's extra weight. It's just, yeah. My option would be either the original iWater cup, or as I say, get your Takumi, pull the cup off the top and drop a H&S cup on the top of it, job done. So I hope you've enjoyed this little look at the iWater Eclipse Takumi. It is a very nice brush, guys. Coming in at around 209. Is it worth £209? Yes, it is, because it will be with you, as I say, with all your iWaters. They just last. They're built well. Yes, this is to me, the cup's a design. It's just not very good idea with that big cup. And if they're saying you're getting better paint flow, you've just seen it with that cup on, and it's absolutely fine and works exactly the same. So it's up to you, guys. You might get on with the big cup. Me personally, I hate it. It's just in the way. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it's not put you off a Takumi Eclipse, because they are very good brushes, guys. And for a 0.35, it will get you real down on detail. It is surprising how well it will get down on detail. And the paint flow with it, with either of the cups, is really nice. It's smooth, it's comfortable to work with. I mean, the pressure on this can keep going down. It's a great brush, and I've used it on plenty of videos on the channel and used it for like 8 hours in a day, hitting it hard, chucking loads of different colours through it, and it hasn't missed a beat. So a good brush by Iwata, a bad design on the cup. So thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe, press that notification, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys.